Everybody. My name is Alex, and I'm here to talk to you about being a dungeon master. It's July 10th, 2020, and quarantine ended around a month and a half ago. Over the course of that quarantine, a lot of people asked me how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and more specifically, how to be a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons. And I would send them all of these links to videos talking about being a new dungeon master. Um, while I have plenty of experience being a dungeon master, there are many, many more people out there who have much more experience than I do. So I would just send them like hundreds of links to videos. But I figured rather than having to send them a bunch of links to all of these videos, I would just make a video myself with all of these links in the description. So that way I could just send out one link. And also, I could tell them exactly what these links talk about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This first one that we have up is from Geek and Sundry. It features voice actor and dungeon master extraordinaire Matt Mercer. And it boasts a large range of topics, from creating NPCs to building encounters, both combat and social, and preparing for the unexpected, improv and stuff like that. Very, very highly recommend. It's the reason why this is the top of my list. Next up, we have Adventuring Party. This is a great playlist from Dimension 20's Brennan Lee Mulligan. He's a really great yes and type of DM. He works in, his players will say just a little one-off joke, and he's really good at like working in that joke into the story. I won't spoil anything, but if you ever do watch it, keep an eye out on Fantasy High sophomore year. There's a joke kind of like in the middle of the campaign that he ties back in at the very end of the campaign. And this list talks about some topics that the first list did like touched on, but a lot of stuff that it didn't, such as what to do with a nat 20, building your own campaign setting. Hey, that guy on the right looks familiar. To storytelling using RPGs as a medium. He's also a great dungeon master, so I highly recommend checking out this playlist. Next on the list, what do you know? It's Brennan again. I couldn't find a playlist for this batch of videos, but I'll have all of the links to the Adventuring Academy office hours videos in the description as well. This set includes how to prep for a campaign session, how to bring the party together, and how to build compelling characters. Next up on the list is Taking 20. A lot of 20s in the names of these channels, huh? These are 5 tips from him for new dungeon masters. The first tip he gives is fun trumps story trumps rules, and that rules should be the least of your concerns when beginning to dungeon master. One of the first things the rulebook for Dungeons and Dragons says is that these books and these rules that they give you are more or less just guidelines, and that every table is different. Some people might have different rules for the hiding mechanic than they do at other tables. As a brief aside, in the first campaign I ever ran myself, I pretty much all but tossed the book out the window. This was back when my friends and I first started, and we started on an RPG system called Pathfinder. I'll spare you most of the details, but suffice to say that the system is pretty complicated, especially for a first-time DM. Stuff like damage reduction and spell-like abilities and dexterity bonuses. It was kind of a mess. It was kind of a bit much for us. So I learned the basic rules and just went from there, pretty much. Was it the best game in the world? Definitely not. Were we all having fun? I can't speak for my players, but I certainly was having fun with it. And this video is great as a little just snippet to introduce you to tips and tricks to dungeon mastering. Next up, we have WASD20, another 20 name. This video talks about making your NPCs more interesting, how to prepare your NPCs to be more interesting, and how to make them memorable and unique. This is touched on in one of the videos in the Geek and Sundry playlist, but if I could personally give some advice, make sure to have a list of just generated names. There are plenty of like fantasy name generator websites. In addition to that, have a list of like interesting things of note, and a list of voices, and then mix and match those at your leisure. Your world might be full of people with their own lives, wants, hopes, and dreams, but your players are only going to meet a handful of those people. So when you do your mixing and matching, make sure to write down those things that you mixed and matched. So that way when your players come back to that city and want to talk to that NPC again, you have their basics of who they are and what they sound like ready to go at a moment's notice. Next up is a playlist, a massive playlist from a creator named Matt Colville. Prior to starting his YouTube channel, he worked for a game company called Turtle Rock Studios. They made games that you might have heard of, like Left 4 Dead and Evolve. This series, again, covers a wide array of topics. Feel free to pick and choose videos from it that suit your needs. I'd recommend starting with the very first video on the playlist. I won't tell you about all 90-something videos on the list, but I highly recommend that you check them out. Or don't. I'm not your mom. Next up is a video from a creator named Z Bashu. He has a wonderful, wonderful animated series talking about how to use different spells in interesting ways, and some animated D&D stories on his channel as well. This video talks about how he dungeon masters, and specifically how he dungeon masters traveling from one city in-game to another. Some really informative and interesting stuff in this video. I highly, highly recommend this one. I could just be biased because I love animated stuff in general, but I think it's a damn good video. Number 8. Holy crap, how long have I been talking? This video is from a channel called Dungeon Dudes. They have some really interesting videos on their channel, including how to build the perfect Hexblade Warlock, best magic items for creative players, and so much more. This video in particular is about how to run combat in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And finally, we have a video from a channel called Kanekuo? It looks like a Japanese name, so I'm going to go with Kanekuo. But I could be wrong. From his series Table Technician, this video is a quick guide on how to create branching storyline quests. It details a method of quest making that follows a logic narrative, if this then that, until you build to the final reveal. I use this type of quest making all the time. Bonus points, it's another animated video. And there we go, a list of videos that helped me become a better dungeon master, and that I believe can help you. If people like this video, I may come out with more. I have some thoughts on coming out with my own dungeon master tips and tricks videos. I certainly have an idea for a video detailing resources for a dungeon master, stuff like Kobold Fight Club and stuff like that. So if that interests you guys at all, let me know. Also, little note here, I have another video on this channel, which is like half of a bard rap I've been working on with a buddy. If you feel like cringing, feel free to check it out. If you like it, then tell my buddy Sam to finish his part so we can finally finish the song together. But that's all for now, nerds. Bye. Love you.